Hello, welcome to Chicago Citation Style. After completing this tutorial, you will be able to understand the main differences between notes bibliography and author date styles, the basics of both styles, how a reference list is organized, and references for major source types. Let's get started. The Chicago Manual of Style is currently in its 17th edition. It comes in two varieties, Notes Bibliography and Author Date. In Notes Bibliography, sources are cited in numbered footnotes or endnotes. Each note corresponds to a raised or superscript number in the text. Sources are also usually listed in a separate bibliography. In Author Date, sources are briefly cited in the text, usually in parentheses with the author's last name and year of publication. Each in-text citation matches up with an entry in the reference list, where full bibliographic information is provided. Let's start with Notes Bibliography style. Notes, whether footnotes or endnotes, are usually numbered and correspond to superscript numbers in the text. A footnote or endnote generally lists the author and title, separated by a comma, and facts of publication in parentheses. You'll notice that the author's names are listed in first name, last name format. Titles are capitalized headline style, and titles of books and journals are italicized. Titles of chapters, articles, or unpublished works are in quotation marks. Repeated citations should be shortened whenever possible. This shortened citation is different from an abbreviation. The most common short form consists of the last name of the author and the main title of the work cited, usually shortened if more than 4 words. In a change from previous editions, Chicago discourages the use of Ibid in favor of shortened citations. To avoid repetition, the title of a work just cited may be omitted. Page numbers must always be included if you have a direct quote. Let's look at author date style now. The basic elements of author date in-text citations are author's last name, publication date, and page numbers if needed. Here you can see examples of how author date citations can be formatted. If your source doesn't have an author, like a report from an organization or a newspaper, their name will become the author. In-text citations can be parenthetical or narrative. In parenthetical citation, the author and the date of the publication are mentioned in parentheses at the end of the sentence. In narrative citation, the author's names are incorporated into the text through an introductory phrase, followed by the publication year in parentheses. When multiple sources are cited, they are separated by semicolons. Next, let's look at reference lists and bibliographies. Reference lists are always included for author date and usually included for notes bibliography. If you are using the notes style, this section is titled Bibliography, but if you are using author date, it is titled References. This presentation will use references, so check your style closely. The basic elements are author, date, title, publication details, location. Let's look at a sample reference list. The reference list is organized alphabetically by author and then by date from oldest to newest. It is usually single-spaced with a line between the entries. Some journals may not include this blank line. Chicago 17 advises against using the 3M- for repeated author entries in the reference list. Journal article titles are in quotation marks and the journal name is italicized. For articles consulted online, include the DOI if available. If there is no DOI, include the URL or the name of the database in the reference list entry. No access dates are required for formally published electronic sources like journal articles and ebooks. Book titles are italicized. Chapters are in quotation marks with the book title in italics. For books consulted online, include a URL or DOI as you would for a journal article. For magazines and newspapers, page numbers may be omitted since they are not always contiguous. When there is no author, the organization becomes the author. You can list the acronym or abbreviation for an organization in the reference list, followed by the organization name in parentheses. It is often sufficient simply to describe web pages and social media content in the text, but here are examples of full references in case you need them. For a source that does not list a date of publication or revision, use in:(d) for no date in place of the year and include an access date. In place of a title, quote up to the first 160 characters of the post. Comments are cited in reference to the original post. Timestamps are generally not needed, but may be included to distinguish from other social media posts on the same day. This concludes our introduction to Chicago Style. If you would like additional information or have questions, please ask us.